Now, like and share. Don't forget, that's the most important thing. Facebook controls who watches what. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. There's another tune in tonight on Straight Talk. There we go. Hey, woman of God, Ella Pass. Hello, Shannon. I am Mason Logan. Yes, I'm reverbing mine a little bit. Hey, Shannon. Oh, my cat. Hey, Colette Carter. Yes. Yes, yes. Hey, woman of God. So good to have you on. Hey, Shannon. Love you, Shannon. We're going to be discussing a topic that everybody can relate to. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, and hope that you enjoyed your day on yesterday. Hope that it was blessed, that you were able to spend it with your children. If your mother was no longer with you, we are praying for your strength, continued strength. Hey, man of God, man Williams. Hello, Sandra Fisher. Good to see you. Hey, my love, DeShanta. It's so good to see you, Shan. I want to hear your voice again. Hello, Dolores Robertson. Come on, come on. Let's get the numbers up. Come on. All right. Also, remember to like and share. Like it and share as well. Hey, Thomas King, folk tog extraordinaire. Hey, Mo Daddy. All right. Not only tune in, but you can call in too. You can call us up at 404-382-0417 at any time during the discussion. We don't really have a guest tonight, so we'll kind of bounce off of each other along with Dr. Harris. Now, Dr. Harris has been traveling, so thank we're gonna pull her in anyway. Hey, man of God, Pastor Rufus Fuller, it's so good to have you on. I'm gonna let the Lord use me, Reverend. Hello, Jonathan Henry, insider. Let the Lord use you. Hey, Jonathan Henry. Hello, Darcel. Darcel, good to have you on tonight as well. All right, and then it's on Pastor T. We were having a discussion earlier, and I guess the conversation is timely because we were talking about raising children, as the older ladies say, children without the LD, well, 2 hours. So there was a video that was circulating. I wish we could show it, and this is nothing new. It's been happening where teachers have taken aggressive approaches with students. Sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it has been unwarranted. My husband ran across a video where there was a teacher who some would say was using excessive force with a student. So I really wish we could show this video. If you've seen it, just give us some hands that you have. If not, it just kind of goes along with some of the discussion tonight. So it's on you. Hey, yes. Dupree, love you, Dupree.
Yes, let me tell you the thing that it was kind of shocking to me. Me and my wife talk about a great many things, great number of things and stuff like that that have nothing to do with anything, but just sitting back and talking. And so as I was looking through what was trending and everything, I saw on my timeline, I saw where in a classroom that this young man, and he might have been 6'2", 6'3", and the teacher himself was probably about maybe 5'11" or whatever the case may be. But obviously there was some discipline going on, and out of nowhere I saw the young man throw a punch, and I mean he threw a haymaker, and it grazed the teacher. Well, the teacher instinctively grabbed the young man up. Y'all might have seen this. Grabbed him up, and we call it back in the day. We call it slamming him, soup plating on top of a desk and everything, and gave him a couple good ones, and then some people came and broke it up. But it was obvious to me just looking on, and I don't know everything that was taking place, but I know at one point in time, especially in my area, you wouldn't dare try to assault or fight a teacher or someone that was in a position of authority. And so where we are today, I just think it's just a lack of respect for adults, for authority. It really makes policing hard. It makes teaching hard. It makes our jobs hard. And let's be honest, if we can't get teaching through to our children, they're definitely doomed. Yes, we need to get Jesus through to them, but if the teachers can't teach in the classroom for fear of being attacked or assaulted, that was one thing. But I just thought it was I just really thought it was just really vile. But secondly, how did we get here? Is that my mic? how did we get to this place of such disrespect? And secondly, what should a teacher do if they are attacked? Because I mean, my
Good
wife,
question.
and we gets back to what my wife was telling me. She says that you kind of intense from time to time. I don't see myself that way, but of course, I'm not on the outside looking at me, so I value her opinion. She says that I'm intense and that I probably wouldn't be a good school teacher. She's probably right. I'll be honest with you, because I was just not raised to be a punching bag. And so I probably would have reacted the same way that this teacher did. So there's no doubt that the teacher probably ended up getting fired. But I mean, there are some cases to where we have no choice but to defend ourselves. So was the teacher right? Was the teacher wrong?
Mm.
And the parents. I wonder if we could have done a follow up to this. What was the parents' conversation like when they approached the principals, the staff? I wonder where they're going off on them. And then this leads into where we talk about it takes a village to raise a child. Are you okay with other people whipping your child or
It
not?
used to be.
So
It used
yeah,
to be, but here's the question. It's a two-part question, and I present this to those who are chiming in tonight. And again, thank you for tuning in to us. Please call us, and also type. We want you to. We're interactive, so we need you to join in on the conversation. 404-382-0417 is Straight Talk. I saw Kendall Peacock. Hey, Kendall, good to see you. Also, others that are chiming in who are new and who are checking out the show want to acknowledge Mildred Walker as well. Listen, 404-382-0417. That is the phone number tonight if you want
like
to
and shit.
chime in. And we do need you to like and share the video. I have a two-part question. So, is it ever okay for a student to hit a teacher? No. But is it ever okay for a teacher to hit a student? Is it ever justified? All right. So I see one head shaking, but I want to get some of our viewers. As a woman
And,
got to me a message that the video
and
dropped. I hope not. If you
I
can
would
see
love
it,
to
let
hear
us
from
know.
Tim Hughes. If we could put that phone number on there. It's 404 Tim Hughes called
Okay,
in
we can write
because
it
a lot of my
down.
homeboys, a lot of my family members, my cousins, men, I know that they are not going to take too. I know that they would have their opinions and things. I know I'm not out here on the island by myself to say that I'm not. I'm not getting ready to subject myself
Well,
to
and then
being
here is the
beat down
question then.
and
Why was
jumped
that
on.
student? Let me just say this, and I'm not in defense. Hey, well, thank you, woman of God. I'm glad you can see it. I'm not in defense of a student being aggressive with a teacher, but I work in the school system, and it's not. I don't think it's as bad as it is when I worked, and that was like 2009, 2010. But can I just say, witnessing some of the young people, they are a different breed. I'm not giving an excuse. Some of them are, because I don't like to make blanket statements. Some of our students are just haven't been raised with the village. Some of them haven't been raised on the level to respect adults. But working with young people, there has to be some type of cause and effect. Right. You can't just say anything you want to children either. Exactly. Especially certain children. Sometimes teachers can pull a trigger and set off something in some of these students that you're not used to. And of course, something's going to be set off. Usually, it's the cause. Working in the school system, I'm just saying personally, I've never seen a situation where a child was just aggressive to a teacher. It just doesn't happen. They may already have attitude problems, some anger issues, but anybody that has anger issues, or even if you're dealing with children who are coming from volatile situations, something is triggered usually with that. So you want to chime in, and we're gonna go back to Pastor T, because I love it when sometimes we are disagreeing on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
conversation.
Well,
Go ahead, Todd.
because I was a
Thank you,
teenager. I was a
DeShaza.
teenage mother, right? And so I'm in the same kind of in the same air as my children is. Even our separation is not that much. And so because of that, I've seen both sides of it.
Hey, Stacy.
I've seen where, first of all, the issue that we have right now is teachers are not teachers anymore.
Amen. That's
teachers
true.
teachers
That's true.
don't have the respect or deserve the respect that teachers used to deserve back then, because they don't give the same respect. Back then, I know that it's respectful for children to respect adults, but it's also a lot of teachers that bring a lot of baggage to school, and then they allow themselves to take their authority in the wrong way. I've seen it to the point that a teacher has, I mean, you got teachers coming to school. First of all, their dress code and stuff. It's
They
just like
look
the
like
students.
children.
It's just like the students. First of all, that loses a respect factor because back then teachers had the respect to look like a teacher, to talk like a teacher, to act like a teacher. Now we have teachers trying to be the students' friends and all of these other stuff. But then when they get an attitude, then they want to use their authority in the wrong way. We have to realize that this day and age, a lot of the education system is not filled with good teachers anymore.
Yeah, to a certain degree,
Okay.
but you know what though, I'm going to sit here and say this. There should be. See, the thing about it is that we get mad. Not so much. Nobody can. We give too much power to people. In other words, I get mad because of how I feel about what you say or what you've done. Nobody can make you mad. You get mad because of how you think about a certain thing. And so, therefore, we've got to really teach our children how to think. We need skilled life coping mechanism because you're going to always get mad. The fact of the matter is, you're going to lose. How many jobs are you going to lose when you go to, it don't matter how the boss dress. You know, you're there to earn a living and you're there, and he doesn't need you as much as you need that job to provide for your family.
Mhm.
So we can use the excuse all we want to that they don't dress like we want to. We don't like the color of their hair. We don't like the way that their language is, and it might be colorful and so on and so forth. Well,
No.
you got an option here. Let me finish my
Okay.
thought.
All
So
right.
you have an option here as an employee, leave the job, all right, and take the risk of not being able to provide for your family and go seek another job. If you don't like what's going on in the school system, then we need to be more active as parents in the school system.
Absolutely.
I think that it's wrong to make a blanket statement because, first of all, it is a hard job. First of all, dealing with other folks' children. Teachers are raising people's children, and they're not teaching. No, they're not teaching because they have to play babysitter. They actually are correction officers, is what they are these days. And it has largely to do with the fact that we as parents, we have just dropped the ball when it comes to our children. We don't want nobody to talk to them. They're easily offended. Because I'm telling you, my teachers talked to us real bad when I was young. My coaches talked to us bad. They would slap us on the back of our head. Anybody that went to Blunt, thereabout went in those school systems, you know that Santee Gamble would slap you on the back of your head, cuss you out, talk about your mama and that. I understand that it was a different time, but it's the same.
And I'm not disagreeing
it's the
with
same
you.
mind. Yeah.
And I don't think she is
But
either.
you-
But I think that she's coming from the
I'm coming
say
from
that
being
you have
there.
two sides.
Listen, I totally agree with you, honey. I'm not disagreeing with you in the sense of it was a different time. My teacher, I remember we had a teacher, some of you all may remember who lived in Denver, Miss Eccles. She would literally pick up the students from their pants and she would paddle them.
Yep.
And that was okay because it was a time where it was the community and it was the village that helped raise the children.
Right.
We all knew each other and our parents didn't mind. Can we all agree we are not living in that time? If
And
you
I was
picked
in a
up-
multicultural school where there was black and white students. You know, my whole life because I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Right.
And the white teachers used to paddle us just like the black teachers did.
But you can't do that now. You paddle someone's kids, their mama coming straight.
They coming in,
up to the
it's a gang fight.
I
Is
will
what it
tell,
is.
I'll tell you this, and I'll be transparent. My daughter was being bullied in Danville, and me being a mama bear, I'm just very protective. I'm protective because I know that my daughter will not really bother anybody unless
They're bothering
unless
her.
somebody's
She's
bothering her,
doing
and
it.
she will fight. She will defend herself. But here's the deal: I remember going to the school and I went through protocol. I went to the security guard. I also asked the teacher, can I come into the class to see if this situation can be diffused? So I'm in the classroom, and first of all, I think that the kids were very unruly. The teacher did not want to say anything to these children, and I asked her why not. She said, I'm scared. The
Wow.
teacher said,
Scared.
I am scared.
I'm scared of what?
I'm scared of these students.
See?
I'm scared of them. They
that's
are
sad.
so disrespectful. They're not listening to me. But to make a long story short, me protecting my child and trying to not so much discipline the young people, but I did address them. I was looked at as first trespassing, and then second, the parents were mad at me saying I'm intimidating the children. When was discipline and addressing young people intimidating, but you have a room full of unruly students who are intimidating a teacher? So I do agree with you. Somewhere along the line, parents are not disciplining their children as they should, teachers shouldn't have to take on the role of a parent. So then what is the solution? And DeShanta says she remembers that incident.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
But
what
here, go ahead.
the parents are doing now, and now these days is
Turn
the
around.
households are dysfunctional. So then, as soon as somebody addressed their child, they want to try to, be there as a parent at that time. But in all reality, they lost their parenting skills a long time ago. So it's like when the drama is there, they're ready to be involved. But the stuff that the kids are going through at home to feel like the way that they feel in order to come to school with attitudes and all of that stuff, it's also coming mostly from their household.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem that I have is that most often, and just for example, take your situation, and let me just and take yourself out of it, and let me just throw this at you.
Okay.
All right. So typically what ends up happening is that we want to this. You say, and I'm not saying this is the case, but you say that your child was being bullied. First of all, when we get it, we always take a stance of protecting our own. Ours is over here and yours are over there. You want to discipline my children, my child, but you don't want to discipline your own. And so that's what we see a lot of times and that's the thing that makes us rigid. It makes us set up a standard against folks that want to beat my child, but then I watch your child doing all kinds of stuff over here and you give them a pass and always point your fingers at my child. And so parents look at that and that becomes a divide because we are biased. And I've seen this even in my own. I mean, I have family members and things like this, and my mom can attest to this. Here it is, our aunts and so on and so forth. They would talk about how we were as little children, or whatever the case may be, but their own children at home setting the house afire.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? But that never get out the bag. They never mention their child. They guard up their child. They hoard that information, but they throw your information out there.
Absolutely.
And so this is what happens, and this is what makes people like, hey, don't touch my child. I don't want to village raising my child because I can't rely on you to treat my child fairly.
Right.
And then it becomes a game, click, a set. And the same thing is in the church, is in the school, and it's in the houses.
Yeah, I want to tell people to encourage them to give your remarks on the conversation, and I also call us 404-382-0417. I would love to hear from you, DeShanta, even Mildred Walker. Hello, and also to our YouTube audience. Call us up, 404-382-0417. What does it take now to make sure we're raising children and we're not being biased against our own children? Go ahead, Dr. Harris.
You know what? Another issue within the school system is this, because I was in the education system too, and I work with special needs children. But one of the problems that I find too with teachers is this: teachers hold grudges these days. See, as a teacher, you're supposed to be, when one thing happens, first of all, you're helping to raise children, regardless of how you want to look at it. When those children come in your care, you are now responsible to help them to grow, whether it's in reading, writing, arithmetic, math, social science, and study, or if it's in their attitude, their character, and them becoming mature students or mature children. So when you, as a teacher, hold a grudge on a student because of something that happened the day before, you stepped out of your professionalism as a teacher at that time. Sometimes it is hard because of the humanistic, who we are humanly, but as a teacher, you have to learn how to forgive.
So let's put her in this situation then.
Who is her?
Let's put Dr. Harris.
Okay.
Excuse me. Let's put Dr. Harris in the situation then. Because again, that was the original topic. Was that justified? We don't know because we don't know the incident. We don't know what caused it. We don't have all the details, so we don't want to do any speculating. But I disagree for a teacher putting their hands on students. Is it ever justified? And if you were put in that position, what would you do? And before you respond, Jaheim Preacher Man Royster says, as a youth, I think a lot of teachers are scared of students because how the student acts big and bad. We're going to address that, Jaheim, but go ahead.
But see, the thing is that when you're a teacher, that also comes with parenting skills, and that's what teachers also lack. There's a lot of teachers these days, they don't even have children.
But you didn't answer
the
question.
But that's not their job description.
What's the question?
Would you ever defend yourself if there was a situation where a student attacked you?
Oh, I've been in a situation before.
Did you defend yourself?
And I didn't defend myself in a way that I put my hands on the child.
Okay.
Now, it was a special needs child, so I restrained the child as lightly as I could so that it
Them
wouldn't
kids
hurt
are
me.
strong.
Yes, but at the same time, they're strong. But
Come
as
on
an
now,
adult
you know you
person,
gave him
no,
an
no,
elbow.
no,
You
no,
gave
no,
him an
no, no.
elbow.
No. First of all, as a teacher, I feel that when a child comes to you, and even when they're in their most disrespectful mode, you should have a voice enough to stop them in the midst of their mode. To me, I feel that kids respect people that have the true authority of being a teacher. Like they respect you if you and when they get out of respect, there's some things that you can say that reminds them of who you are as an individual.
We
Well,
already
see,
know
I would
what
say
you
this
would
right
do.
here. Yeah,
We
no,
already-
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Slam
No,
dunk.
not
Right.
necessarily. No. I don't want
DeShanta
to say that.
says that she would defend herself.
Yeah, you got to
Call
defend
in,
yourself.
DeShanta. Call
If
in.
let me tell you something right now. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. If my wife comes home and tells me that she let some children jump on her because she
He said
want
he
to
was
be
gonna leave
reasonable and want to be, I'm going to
You know what?
be really, really upset with her.
Take a belt
I'm
to school with
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna be real upset with it. But here, but all jokes aside, because you got to defend yourself. You have a right to defend yourself. That's a right across the board. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. And it
Right,
also
but they
is,
have
and it also
security in
reinforces.
school, so when do you step out of bounds as a teacher?
But see here, but see,
that's a good question.
because it's happened so spontaneously, because children, they don't, that's what I say, they don't have life skills, so they don't understand. Wait a minute, let me reason this.
Has not
Yeah,
fully
developed.
as well.
So they act immediately, respond,
You need Pat tonight too.
and that's why they strike out so quick, and you inadvertently, before you know it, you've reacted. But see, here's what's unfair. We expect for the teacher to be everything. We want them to be a parent. We want them to be able to be counselors. We want them to be able to have pistols in school. We want them to be trained. You only pay these people $22,000 a year.
Right. And do we agree with that?
So do you?
Your mom. Let's hear from your mom. Can she call in? Mom Betty, if you could do
Yeah,
this
call
for
in
me.
for us, Mom.
Mom, call us. Let me give it a number. 404-382-0417. Because Mom Betty was an educator, I would love her on this conversation. Jaheim Preacher Man Royster says, teachers lack parenting skills. You have to speak to a student the way you would want them to speak to you. So he's on the side of the teacher. Wow.
Of the
okay.
child,
All right.
of the student, you mean?
Yes, of
He's
the
on the
student.
side,
Yes.
yeah.
Your mom says, fortunately, I never had a need to defend myself against a student. However, I would have become necessary. Call us, Mom Betty.
Yeah. So my thing is, we want, and so if I'm highly educated, and I have all these valuable skills that you mentioned that teachers should have. Teaching is not something I'm getting ready to go into. It's just obvious.
But teaching has to be a passion, though.
Yeah, teacher has to be a passion, but you don't have to be a footstool. That's the reason why, and so thus is the reason why you have so many.
There we go. And then
undertrained teachers.
We're gonna reach a comment in a minute. Hey, Miss Marie Braxton, we love you. Hey, Lamar. All right, we're ready to take it. Hey, good evening, caller. Welcome to Straight Talk with the Turners. Who's on the air with us?
This is Betty Pugh.
Welcome.
That's so cute.
Welcome.
Happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes.
Hey, my baby.
Thank
We love you.
It was a beautiful day, and this is really an interesting topic that you have going on tonight, and it's really a very difficult one.
Yeah.
Because times have changed so much now, and discipline within the school system is so different from what it was when I was teaching school. But I can tell you of an experience that I had once with a student who he was a problem child, and because I never had problems with my students, the principal put him in my class to sit, for his study hall. He wasn't to do anything but just to sit there because they felt like I could discipline him if something happened.
Right.
And he was really a child with problems, and he did fine for about 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden one day he got angry with some students, and he picked up a chair and he threw it across the room and hit a student in the back. And some of the other students grabbed him, and they held him while I called the office to ask them to send someone down to help. But, really, they did nothing to that student because he had a problem. And I think that what's going to happen in the school system is that we're going to have to get back to basics. And if students have problems, they need to be in an area where problem children are with someone who is qualified to deal with those students.
Mom Betty,
And
could I ask you a
yeah,
question? In your years of educating, did you take the role as parent? Do you find that teaching was different or educating was different as it is now? When you were teaching, and of course it hadn't been that long ago at all, but I'm wondering, did you have to take the role as parent? Did you have to take the role as a disciplinarian, or was it strictly professional as an educator?
no, I definitely had to take on the role of a parent, a
Yes, ma'am.
disciplinarian, and a
Absolutely.
teacher all combined.
Mm,
And actually, on some days, instead of teaching the subject matter, I would tell them, okay, close your books today. We're going to talk about discipline
see, that's good.
because they did not get it at home all the time. Some students wanted discipline and didn't get it because nobody was willing
Absolutely.
to take the time to do it, to teach them what was right. So I just took time out and I said, we need to talk about this. And I let them express themselves and we would talk about it and there were different views on different issues. But when we talked about it, we all came to the conclusion that we have to respect each other and we have to be aware of people's feelings. And you can't just do something to somebody because you're angry.
Mm, yeah,
You know,
it's different.
you have to realize that everybody has feelings, and your feelings don't really count that much.
Mm.
And you have to separate your feelings from your actions.
Dr. Harris has a question, I think, for you, Mom.
Yes. So my Betty. Okay. When I
Yes,
when I was a child, I was one of those troubled children. Before I was grown, and then I got in the education system myself. And a lot of things that I found out is that that the school system never really took the time out to find out what the problems was with me as a child. All they did was judge. When something happened, then that's when they would discipline. But when nothing was happening and you were doing good, they never really reward you for the good that you do. They always find all of the bad that you do. And a lot of these children, do you agree that a lot of times when it comes to a troubled student, when they're trying to get themselves together and they're trying to do everything to do the right thing, do you agree that there's no one there to actually support them in doing right, but as soon as they do wrong, everybody's jumping on them?
Hmm.
I do. I do agree with that. And a lot of schools do have in-house psychologists that work with students who are really troubled and troublemakers. But we have a lot of kids who are mainstreamed into classrooms when they should not be in there. They need to be in special classes where they can get the help that they need on an individual basis.
Okay, but then let me ask you this here. So when you say that, then there are laws that have come into place. Well, now parents with those same children, we used to call those classes special ed. They used to ride different buses, which was a small bus, a tiny bus. And so now you're
Right.
having parents saying that my child is being signaled out, and it is a learning block and a learning block for them. And there have been lawsuits behind that. So now they're migrating these same children into regular classroom as to not ostracize them.
Hmm.
So
Well, that's
Hmm.
true too, but in most cases, students are not put into special ed classes or into any type of special environment unless they have the parents' permission. You know, parents have to say, it's okay to put my child in, even if it's for a test period, to say, let's try him out in here for so many weeks or
Hmm.
days to see how he will function in this environment. And then if he still becomes where he cannot be contained, he cannot be helped in that situation, then they have special schools that they can be transferred to, but they should not be left in the mainstream classrooms
I
with
agree.
students who don't have those same problems.
I agree. I want to read two comments, Mom Betty, and you are welcome to continue to join us on this great conversation that since you have that experience and background. Van Williams says, and we appreciate you for tuning in, Van, man of God, teachers has to earn respect. I remember teachers having sex with students and other students seen it. So that teacher have lost all respect. But then DeShanta Tucker says not all teachers sleep with their teachers. However, in my opinion, the upbringing, the showing respect for adults and those of authority, it starts at home. So, what do
Mhm.
you do when it's not at home and they clearly bring it to school? How far does a teacher go? Or do we get back to what your mom did and teach those discipline classes in the classroom? And then doesn't that take up then the educational
Because
time
now my child is in
or
a
the
class.
curriculum? I mean,
My child is in a class and a curriculum where I want my child to get an education, but my child is telling me that they got no work done all week because there was a disciplinary action in the back. The kids are talking too loud. The kids are making jokes and fun and so on and so forth. So now my kid is being deprived. But all this is coming along with the public schools, and then those vouchers that we're talking about. That's a whole another political issue right there. That they're coming and talking to give your kids public private vouchers
mhm.
so that they can go to the different schools so that if your child is a gifted child to separate them from that public school system.
Mhm.
But then on the end, but then they're being fought in the public school system saying, no, you can't do that. You can't separate them because now you're creating an unequal playing field. So it's sort of like
And
we
then,
just caught
and then
between a
some of
rock
the
and a
same
hard
problems
place.
are in these private schools.
Right, and
Yeah.
then Stephen Stewart, and also I see Lady Tamara Tarver joining us. Dr. Tarver, thank you. It's an honor to have you on. Maybe you can join us. Stephen says there are different modifications. One for resource, which is extra time allowed on resting and details with curriculum. And then you have modifications with behavior, which is a totally different modification.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a good point.
So
to bring
I'm
up.
gonna tell you where I see this
Okay.
going.
All right.
Where I see this going is that you're going to have a policeman in
Anytime.
every classroom.
Do you
In
think
the
come
very
on
near,
now?
yes, I see
Wait
it
a
coming that way.
minute, wait a
Because I mean,
minute.
what's the other alternative? You're going to give someone who is ill-trained, that does not have the passion. Talk about equipping teachers with pistols and guns in their classroom, and they're doing this under the auspices of when intruders or invaders come into school with guns to shoot them. But I'm gonna tell you what's gonna end up happening. Either the teacher's gun is gonna end up getting taken from them, they're gonna get shot by a student, an unruly
Wow.
student, or that teacher is gonna act out in killing a child in the school.
Or the whole
Listen,
classroom.
we
Yeah.
got a comment, and I think this is great. Susan, hey, Susan Castillo Dalton. She says in elementary school, this is her daughter, May Gale, was every teacher's nightmare.
Mm.
She was severely ADHD, and her teachers didn't know how to work with her. So she stayed in the hall or the principal's office. Once she knew the teachers disliked her, it was on.
Mhm.
Eventually, they moved her to another elementary school with educators who were equipped to work with kids with focus issues. It wasn't special ed. They just simply knew how to effectively reach the kids and help them engage in learning. Kids at school where there is no one who knows how to reach them are being done a disservice.
Yeah.
Once moved, May Gale's entire outlook and learning changed. She was a different child. So not every child is LD.
Right. But here's the thing:
That's
going
not
back
fair.
to this teacher being attacked. I mean
Yeah.
that's an extreme,
Call
and
in, Melissa.
it rarely happens. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but when it does happen, what are we to do here? Because I mean, there clearly the lines are drawn in the sand. If you touch my child, I want to sue you. I want to come there with a baseball bat. I want all my brothers, my sisters, my uncles, my grandmama, and everybody to come up there to the school and cry bloody murder. But we didn't, and you know that your child is a problem because the
Can
child
we
is a
pull up
problem at
that
home.
video somehow? I'll tell you what we could do. We
Yes.
could actually pull that video up, Dr. Harris, and I can show it on my phone.
Yes,
And
yes.
that would give people a great way
Yes.
to view it by phone. And
Be-
maybe Mom Betty's still watching. Let's see if we can work on that.
Okay, because
All
I'm
right.
telling you now, if my mother would have get attacked the same way,
Oh,
my
you know
father
you'll
would
be
get
there in
attacked.
Alabama.
No, I wouldn't. No, I'm not saying I'm not going to that extreme. But we have biases for our own position for whoever it is who's in my corner. It's as if it's my mother's, but we have to be. You cannot allow people to attack you. I'm sorry.
But so much has
Sorry.
happened within the school system with it being unjustified because now we've seen hidden videos of teachers who've taken aggressive approaches with students and it was not justified. So now I
teacher
believe
slam
you
students.
have these case by case, these debates now, Dr. T, that makes it hard sometimes because you've seen teachers that have taken their authority too far. Would you not agree? I mean, we're
Yeah, but
seeing it all too often now.
I think that I'm a different kind of parent. I first look at it this way: when an accusation is made against my
Mhm.
child, the first thing that I want to do is, yeah, that's it right there. the first thing that I want to do is to make sure that my child was not the one that's the culprit there. But we're getting ready to show this video real quick.
All right, so
you guys can see this.
Yeah, bear with us. We're going to try to show you this video. Dr. Harris, we appreciate her tonight. And Lorraine is tuning in while we're getting ready for the video. Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine has a comment. She says, good evening to the Turners, Pastor Turner, First Lady Turner. I have a customer that I've been cleaning for over 7 years. She just retired a couple of years from Mays High School. And the reason is, that's because the kids of the world today are so disrespectful that she had to retire early because of her
teachers
kids.
Are leaving.
That they're acting grown and adults. Now her daughter and her son felt like if she didn't retire, they was about to catch a case for the kids that was at the school being so disrespectful to their mother. So sad to say.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, can we pull it up right here?
Hey, Melissa, call in, Melissa. All right, we're going to show it, you guys. Let's see if we can. I'm going to take the phone. Yeah, if you can take it right there. We're going to show the video. There we go.
Yeah, here it is here.
And we're all looking. Hey, YouTube audience.
Looks real good.
Yeah, that's good.
Can you play that again?
Yeah.
Can you play it again? Show it again. Now see that part.
We're going to play it again, y'all.
It looks like the teacher pushed him off him, but the little boy came to him.
That's the teacher.
He did a WWF
move on that little boy. He did.
And
one more time, play it.
Look at it. And that's what the kid is still fighting the teacher, but the teacher's fighting back. See?
Yeah.
But that's said no.
You know
no,
what? But
no
I
matter
think
what, it's not
that
going to
particular teacher could have done something different.
Yeah, I think so.
The way that he approached his whole thing.
I think so. That's not either way it goes. That's not going to heal.
Wait a minute. We got two different thoughts, and this is good. Thank y'all. Call us up, Melissa, 404-382-0417. Melissa says, good. He needed it. Marie Breakfast says, wow, Lord have mercy. Lorraine says, oh my God, Jesus. So here's the question. Right, here's the question now. Is justified or not? Melissa says he needed it. Melissa, I want you to call in and explain your position.
Melissa said he should whoop his butt. I agree with you, Melissa.
Wow.
He pulled his pants up. You notice that the boy pulled his pants up when he approached the teacher like it's on. Whatever you want to do. And the teacher at that point was really pushing him back.
Call in, Melissa.
But see, the thing is, when that child walked back to him, that teacher had a choice in how he dealt with that child. Now I can say that there's some situations that you get yourself into, or some situations that you are approached with that you have no other choice. Yes. But in that particular situation, I felt that he had a choice because the way that the child came to him, by that time, that teacher, if he wanted to, he could have called security. Now you got the whole classroom engaged in a fight. Like at the end of the day, the way that the little boy walked up to him, first of all, how frail the little boy was. He's so small. You know, the teacher could have done something different. If it takes that much to trigger you as a teacher, you don't need to teach.
But here's another thought. Can we agree that things happen so fast that sometimes things happen in warp speed where you can't control your thoughts, you can't control your emotions? Have you ever been in any altercations, Dr. Harris, whether someone, was the aggressor or not, and it happened so quickly that your mind couldn't think fast enough for you to control your thoughts or emotions? We got a call. Come on in, caller. Hey, DeShanta. He didn't have time to call for help. Thank you, DeShanta. Hey, good evening, caller. Welcome to Straight Talk with the Turners.
Good evening. How are y'all doing?
Hey, that's our girl, Melissa Dix. Melissa, what say you tonight?
Yes.
What you say now?
I said, what say you tonight about that video and about the topic in general?
I don't think that's Melissa.
Okay, I didn't even know the topic until I chimed in
Okay.
and I saw that y'all had invited me. I just got off from work, but seeing that video and knowing that that was a teacher and knowing that that was a child that approached their teacher like that, I have my own opinion, and I'm just gonna say that had it been my child that went up to their teacher like that, and had it been me, a teacher, and a child come up to me like that, they going down.
Yes,
because
that's right, Melissa.
I'm gonna tell you something. Look,
That's right.
I'm serious.
That's right, Melissa.
I'm so serious because we live in a new era, and these kids are crazy, man. They're on new drugs. They're being raised by parents that are on drugs, and I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just saying in general, and and people are not raised on, you know, Sanford and Son and Andy Griffith no more, man. This is a new generation. Had it been back in the day, they'd got their tails tore up by the teacher, by the neighbor, by the grandma, by the daddy, by the auntie, by the mama. Everybody would have whooped their tail. Yes. So that's what we need to go back to.
Yes, yes. And go ahead, Dr. Harris.
And I agree with what she's saying totally. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that in the moment that, you know, first of all, teachers have to learn how to defend themselves. I believe that there's a way that they should defend themselves though. I don't believe that you should go toe to toe fighting a child. You know what I'm saying? Like actually that man put his dukes up. He picked that child up. He slammed him really hard. And at the end of the day, he could have made a different choice. I'm not saying that as a teacher that you should not protect yourself, but I'm saying as a teacher, you also have to be disciplined in your own right as a teacher. And if there's any way for you to diffuse a situation, that's your responsibility as not only the teacher, but the adult in the situation.
Your mom Betty says a teacher has the right and responsibility to defend himself.
Well, I mean, I agree to a certain perspective, but here's the thing, you know, it depends on what type of environment that you're in, you know, and I'm not trying to stereotype children or teenagers or whatever, but you got gangs, you got retaliation, you got pride involved, you got all these kids that want to show other kids that they're, you know, big and mighty and bad, and quite frankly, they need to be knocked down every so often. I'm so glad that teacher did what he did. He should have punched him before he even pulled his pants up. For real.
Melissa,
it would have been my child.
Melissa, what if it was one of your children?
I would have been mad at the teacher for not.
I'm like you, Melissa. Me too. I agree.
So y'all wouldn't mind if the teacher knocked
No, I don't mind. No, if my child is any adult, if my child is disrespectful to you, you got a right to whoop my child. You know what I mean? If they've done that and so on and so forth, you can come and tell me later. You can come and tell me later. Because first of all, if my child has a problem with an adult, you come tell me.
Right.
You know, and that's what I told you. Don't even. First of all, that's when we got away from yes ma'am and no ma'am. We started setting it up. Children ought to still call adults yes sir, no ma'am, yes sir. And when you get away from that,
my kids up here. Matter of fact, check this out. I want y'all to hear this. Matter of fact, Diamond, Destiny, Nige.
She didn't call all of them.
Destiny.
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yes, ma'am. Say yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. We appreciate you too. Yeah. We appreciate. That's right. That's what I was always told. My dad always told me, said, I'm gonna whoop you in the house, because if I don't whoop you here, the police gonna whoop you in the street.
Right.
I'd rather whoop you here.
And it really does take a village to raise a child, but I believe also that it's the parents' responsibility and the teacher's responsibility, as well as the school board's responsibility, to make sure the parents and the teachers are meeting before the school year even comes in, to let them know the type of teacher that they're dealing with when it comes to their child. It should be mandatory. I believe it should be mandatory.
Susan Castillo Dalton, guys, she says that I think it depends on the teacher. GW has had a lot of discipline problems, and many teachers have to call security. Yep, they have. However, the oldest, most frail teacher never had an issue because of her teaching style. It goes back to what I said about how to deal with these young people as well. That's a great point.
But the fact you can't put personalities on a cookie cutter job and let them out. Everybody does not teach the same. Nobody parents the same.
You're right. And Melissa and Pastor agree.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Me and Melissa almost always agree on most things. Yeah.
I can say something to now. I'm a parent. Now let's put myself in a parenting situation. I'm talking to my daughter. If my daughter comes to me and I say, Destiny, you do this and you do that, it's yes, ma'am. Now my oldest son, he's a little big-headed. I may have to knock him down a couple of nights. You know what I'm saying? I have to treat my children. They're different people.
Exactly.
You know, they have different personalities.
We have an opinion, guys.
I don't bring politics up in my house. I'm going to whoop their ass whether they need it or not.
All right, listen.
Whether somebody else tells, I'm gonna do that. Whether somebody else tells tells me that I can't or I can, I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't have politics in my house. Politics is all up in the school board.
That's
Let me
right.
read this. Let me read
And
this
that's
real
the
quick,
problem.
Melissa. Let me read this real quick. Gerald Holmes, Pastor Gerald Holmes, and we're praying for you, Pastor, because we know you recently lost your son. Gerald says the child deserved to get his beat.
Yeah.
Children have no business walking up on a grown like that. Children nowadays are so out of pocket. They're out of pocket.
Yeah.
The teacher had every right to defend himself. I want to read this too. Someone said students need to always use their manners. But Deborah Gray, listen, guys, she said, and that's what's happening. The police are whipping them in the street.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's what it is. That's what it's going to.
I would take it back by force.
Wow.
That's right.
That's against my religion not to. And that's the end of my discussion.
Yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Wow.
I agree
We
with
love
that.
you,
And
Melissa.
the thing about it is that we make these children think that they have opinions that can be debated
Right,
with
they
adults,
entitled.
and that's where it starts at, because you just got into this world 12, 13, 14, 16, 17 years, and you want to tell me you're in my house. When you come, if I'm a teacher,
Right.
if you're in my class, you're in my house.
Right.
When you come in my house, I'm trying to do something here. I have a template. I'm trying to teach just more than you, because this class is
Come on,
not
man.
about you. It is about maybe 40 others just like you that I have to get a message to, and I can't let you distract from those who want to learn. And we don't know what the politics were going on in that particular classroom, but I can almost guarantee you that little fella always wanted to state his personal opinion. He wanted to debate with the teacher, debate. Sometimes you have to hold your peace. Mothers at home and fathers at home are allowing these children to debate with them. I want you to be able to have a strong opinion. I want you to be able to have a strong opinion and voice yourself. I'm not trying to, no, that's it. That's a part of respect, because really your opinion doesn't matter. I give you your opinion when I'm paying for your bills. When I'm putting a roof over your head, I'm putting food on your table, I'm putting clothes on your back. I'm out here dealing with a job and dealing with bosses that's stepping on my neck to take care of you. When you got an opinion, I give you an opinion.
All right, listen, Patricia
Let
Owens
me
says,
get the comment from the teachers coming from, I know you didn't say that to my child. My child. Your child ain't no better than my child.
That's right.
Your child needs your child's tail whooped just like mine did.
wow. Patricia Owens says,
Anyway.
Patricia Owens says that I still correct my adult girls the same way
That's
I
right.
was raised. Jaheem Preacher Man Royster says, Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when he is old, he won't depart from it. Lorraine says, I would like to first say I raised my son being a single parent for quite a while, but I also had his stepfather to help raise him as he got to be 7 or 8 years old. With all that being said, I also used to go up to the school, not letting him know I was coming, just to check to see what he was doing or what he was supposed to do in school. A lot of times he was doing what he was supposed to do. What would be good outside the school was when he would do the wrong thing, fighting or picking on other kids. I would whoop him when he would come home, and then I would whoop them and put him on punishment. Whooping and putting him on punishment, but then as he got older as an adult, he chose his own life to live, the way he wanted to live. I had him in church every Sunday. He was in the choir. He was on the usher board, and I prayed with my child when he was a child. All right, thank you, Lorraine, for your comment.
We thank you.
Marie Brakely says we need to go back to the old time way. And we'll read this comment. Pastor Holmes says, I worked at my son's school in Danville. I watched my own child disrespect the teacher, not knowing that I was watching.
Ain't that something?
I checked him out, tore him up,
That's
checked
right.
him back in, and I never had another teacher in my son had a
Right.
great school
That's
year.
right. Yeah, I applaud that. We need more parents like you.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What
He's
the
saying,
hell?
you know what happens and whatnot. That same little
Whoop
boy
it.
is you're gonna take a parking slot from him at a mall about 4 or 5 years from now. He's gonna be the one to jump out and either beat you half to death, somebody's mama, grandmama, or granddaddy, or shoot somebody over a parking slot. Somebody's gonna turn around and grab up your pocketbook and so on and so forth, and run off with it. I got zero tolerance for foolishness.
But see, the thing is that, and I understand, and I totally agree. I agree with the part for the students needing the respect and, the things that a child is supposed to do. But when it comes to an adult, we have to also understand that a lot of these teachers in these school systems are not teachers anymore. When I keep saying that because I've experienced it, not directly, but even indirectly in the school system. I've seen how some of these teachers handle these students. And at the end of the day, you cannot tell a student. Now, maybe back in the days you could, and you can still be lost back then and think that it's going to go on that way right now, but you cannot disrespect a child. And when I say disrespect a child, these teachers these days are calling kids names. They're doing a lot of things that they
But you
shouldn't
know
be
what?
doing.
Okay.
There's a
Okay, let me
lot
call
of
it
things these teachers should not be doing.
I
And
have
if you
to
want
have to
respect as a teacher,
But let me say
then
this.
you need to respect
One at a
yourself
time.
as a teacher and be that teacher that you signed up to be. If you're not that teacher, then how do you expect for a child to respect you?
Dr. T and then Melissa.
Here's the thing. I shudder to think it defies human logic that for a child, because the instinct in a human being, an adult, is to respect and to love children. When you've been in that classroom and the politics from day in and day out and weekends and it doesn't just get to the point to where that adult is calling that child a name. He didn't just come to school and say, hey, you know what? You ugly such and such. Woo, woo, woo. I'm just and that's just going on. I doubt it very seriously. What happens is that there is a cumulative effect that it continues to go back and forth. In other words, I try to deal with this person as much as I know I'm at my wit's end. I can't put my hands on them. I'm at that point. I just don't believe all the teachers are calling the children names. I just don't believe that my children is going. I don't believe I can bring my child in here around you or around my wife and y'all are just going to curse them out as soon as they walk into the door. I think that there's something that makes an individual, an adult, do what he does. When you're trying to get frustrated and then
We have another call coming in. We appreciate Melissa tonight. We love her. We appreciate all of our calls. Continue to keep the calls coming. 404-382-0417. Do we have someone on the line?
Yes, it's Patricia Owens. How are you?
Dr. Pat is joining us tonight, and we need you on this discussion, Dr. Pat. Because here's the question: to whoop or not to whoop that tail? What is the answer?
I'm saying something, but hey, I'm gonna break it right down to you. Whoop that tail.
That's right.
Okay.
There you go.
Whoop that tail.
Yeah.
Okay, I totally agree with Pastor. Let me tell you something. 90% of the patients that I have right now are patients that I have because their parents have not expected them to accept accountability for their actions. And so they are now adults, okay, that are dealing with things that they should not have to deal with because nobody ever whooped that tail.
That's right.
Somebody needs to whoop that tail.
With a cat of nine
Whoop that tail.
But who is that
Okay.
somebody?
This-
Who is that somebody?
This has nothing to do, but if you think about the ways that we were raised back in the day, not only could someone else hold us accountable for our actions, any neighbor, any teacher, any pastor, anybody that saw us doing something wrong could hold us accountable and could whoop that tail. Okay,
Right.
and so
That's right.
we knew that.
That's
All
right.
right, so we knew that we had to respect certain things and we knew that we had to be accountable for certain things. Now there is no accountability, okay,
Absolutely.
none whatsoever. And so children don't have a yardstick to measure
That's right.
what they're supposed to do.
That's right.
And I
They got
agree.
nothing going on.
I agree again with Dr. Pat. However, Dr. Pat, how about when the adults are out of line? What do you do then?
Okay, we can't whoop an adult to tail. And so, like I said, my mission is not to save adults. My mission is to save children.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, and
That's my
saving,
mission. My mission is
saving
not
the
to save
children.
adults, because once they're fully grown, you can't change that
That's it.
behavior.
That's right.
Okay, but if you catch a child, you can change a child's behavior.
That's right.
Just because an adult does wrong, that does not mean the child has to follow that path. But if the child doesn't see that account of accountability, then there is never going to be a change. And that's why we have the mess that we deal with now.
That's right. You catch them at the age of accountability, so
We
that we
have
don't
to-
create
like I said, that's
unfunctional
why
adults.
we can't whip an adult's tail. We can't tell them what to do. Once they're an adult, they are an adult. They are who they are. Okay.
Wow.
I don't agree with that totally. I really
If
don't.
you can catch a child, if you can catch a child in the right perspective,
Okay,
then
we got 5 minutes, and I got 10%
that
on
whipping
my
the tail is the only thing that you have to do. And sometimes love, affection, and attention might be all that they need.
That's
But
right.
you need to be able to disseminate what it is they need at the time.
That's right.
Absolutely. See,
And
now
some
I
of
agree
them,
with what
some of
she's
them
saying.
just need a good A whooping.
That's
Okay,
right.
some of them just need that.
I agree with
And
that.
I agree with that to a
What
certain
the
extent, but
hell?
in this day and age, I know y'all keep talking about yesteryears, but in this day and age, you also have to realize that the adults, back when we were younger, the adults had more respect for who they are as an adult. These days, we have them
Exactly.
putting any and everybody in the school system, and then they want to come in and handle our kids in different types of ways. If
Exactly.
we
But-
agree
but-
with that,
Yeah. But
If
you
we-
know what? I have children. I have had to go into the school system and let them know very distinctively how it is that I raise my child, how it is that I discipline my child. I've had to go in for my own girls who are adults now. But
And
I have
they're
had to
doing
go
well.
in to John and Langston High School and
Yes.
get my daughter up out of there and pop that behind
That's
before
right.
she went up out of there and let her know this is not acceptable and we're not doing this again.
and I
And
did
it
the
didn't
same
happen
thing to my
again.
kids. And so I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm one of those parents. That's what I said. When you go in, you meet the teachers and you let the teachers know what type of parent you are. And then the parents and the
Exactly.
teachers come together and you don't have those
But
issues out of your
most
children.
kids don't have those parents.
Exactly.
That's what we stop. Most kids don't have those parents. They don't have those parents that are concerned. They don't have those parents that are going to invest in their interests, their education. They don't have, and so somebody, and when we grew up, they took a neighborhood to
That's right.
raise a child.
Right. But they
It
also
took
don't
a
have the
neighborhood.
teachers. They
And
have
so,
teachers that are
and
there.
so, and like I said, and losing those values with that neighborhood raising the child, that's why most of the children now and most teenagers now think that they can talk to, we couldn't even talk to adults
No.
in any kind of way without having repercussions. There were circumstances, there were consequences
Absolutely.
for our actions. There
Yeah.
are no consequences now. That's why we have children that are uncontrollable.
That's right.
No,
But we
When you
also
got-
have teachers that are only
Yeah.
there for a paycheck and they act like that when they come into the school.
Well, they don't make very much.
Yeah, but that's not the teacher's,
But-
that's not the teacher's responsibility.
Yeah.
The teacher is not supposed to be raising our children.
Thank
The
you.
teachers are supposed to be teaching our children.
Mhm.
Well, hold on, we
Yeah.
almost
And
run
see,
out of
you're
time,
running out of
you
time,
guys.
but I want to say this.
And
I want to say this in closing. It is a terrible thing when you got children and there's an indication that your grandparents are afraid of your children
Yes.
to be around. And there's something I don't care how you defend it. You got mothers and whatnot. I have seen even on the internet where kids was making a teacher cry. I mean, they treated her so bad that she just cried and just cried, and they
Right.
continue to pile in on. That is nonsense. It is foolishness,
Yes.
and our children are not
But
accountable.
you know what? Pastor, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And you need to integrate that there are a high percentage, and this is a research that I did working on my master's, there are a high percentage of children being raised by their grandparents.
That's right.
Not
We're
because
gonna
they
have that
wanted
later
to,
tonight.
but because
Wow.
they've had to. Okay, because
Wow.
either the parents are incarcerated, the parents are on drugs, there was something that's integrated, so the grandparents are stepping up to
Let's-
raise children, and they already raised their children, so they're not prepared for this situation.
Okay,
They're
let's
not
do this.
prepared to raise their grandchildren.
Let's do this. Let's do this. We're on a great note, and we're going to end on a good note. Dr. Pat, if you could do this for us. There was actually a young lady that was going to join us tonight that has a grandparents organization, and she deals with exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get her to
It's-
come
it's-
in.
it's-
I'm going to get her to come in next week to join us on part 2. This conversation is going to have to go over. We're getting so many comments, I can't read them all.
Like and
This is-
share. Like
right,
and
this
share.
is evidently
Yes.
a timely conversation, so we need you next
And
week.
y'all gonna have to step up so we can go nationwide.
We
can't
are.
keep doing
It's
this
coming.
local.
That's
It's
right.
coming.
That's right.
It's coming, believe it or
We,
not.
we can't keep doing this local. We
That's
got to
right.
go nationwide.
That's
We
right.
need you.
We got to go to CNN.
That's
Yes,
right. We
yes.
need you.
Okay.
So
Yes.
could you join us next week, Dr. Pat? And I'm gonna have I forget the young lady's name. I've got to call her. I've met her here in Georgia. I'm gonna get her to come in next Monday if she's available. We'll have you, and we're gonna go further and delve more into this conversation because we also need to deal with grandparents who are raising their children and the disconnect that happens when you have
And
grandparents.
they are
Yeah.
afraid
And I'll have
of
the
these children.
statistics. And
Yes.
next week I will have the statistics
Okay.
for you
for the
Good.
grandparents
Yes.
raising those children.
Let's do it. Let's do it. This has been great. Dr.
Yes,
Pat, we
great.
love you and we
Yes.
thank you. I don't want my phone to cut off, but as you heard her, she's going to be back next
Mhm.
week. Melissa Dix, we may need you next week.
Yes.
I want to thank
I
my
love your
husband,
position.
Dr. T, Dr.
Lorraine
Harris.
Spencer,
Thank
Van
you.
Williams.
Hey,
yes.
everybody
All the
that
people that
tuned
called
in.
in. Deborah Gray.
Yes.
Yes. Tamara McTeer, she's watching.
Hi.
We love you. Cause Maria briefly, we love you, Maria. Look out for Bible study coming up Wednesday.
Yeah.
Speak to some of the issues that we all got going on. Amen. I'm gonna put a little bit of Jesus Christ on it. Amen. So we can put a whole lot back on us. So, but this is a strong take. It's something that is very dear to my heart.
Yeah, we're going to discuss it further
And
next
so,
week. Yes.
yes.
We're going to do part 2. Listen, she mentioned national. Well, God is doing something in our lives in this season where I can't give it all away, but we got
Yes.
some production crews coming in our
Oh,
area
yes,
tomorrow,
yes.
and we're hoping that that's going to be a springboard to something else, that this
So,
whole
yes.
platform will be a part of it. So
Y'all
you guys
pray for us
stay
with-
tuned.
Y'all pray for us. Traveling Mercies will be moving around quite a bit. We won't be at North Avenue.
Come on to Richmond,
Abundant
Dr.
Grace
Pat.
this weekend will be up in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
Then after that, we got a revival going on over in Danville, Virginia. Then we got some going over to Van Williams over in Alabama. Then we're going to Louisville and then to Ohio with ministry.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
Jessica, let me know when you're in Danville for revival, and maybe I can coordinate that schedule so I can be there to join.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I said June. Isn't
Yeah,
it June?
we love
Is it
you.
June?
It is June 21st.
June
Dr.
21st,
Pat,
yes.
I will call you, Pat, and also inbox you the details.
Call
once we
me.
get 'em. I will. We love you, Pat, and we'll see you next week. So you heard her.
All right.
7 o'clock next
Hey.
week. Straight Talk with the Turners.
See you next
Part
week.
2. That's
All
fine.
right.
All right,
I
Mom,
think
Betty.
Yeah.
that
Wait a
there's
minute,
so
let
much
me
to 2
say
hours.
this. It's gonna be 2 hours probably. Mom Betty, we love you. Thank you for your expertise and your input tonight is greatly appreciated. Lorraine, we thank you. Of course, we thank Man of God Van Williams. Melissa, we love you and thank you. Remember, like and share the video.
Yes.
Also, check out our YouTube and BPU, Dr. Angela Harris and BPU Radio. We always appreciate her, but we need you to like and share. So like Pat said, this can go to the nations and it will
Yes,
go
and
national.
when we come back, we're going to be able to have everything so you guys can see it.
Yeah,
The topics that we're talking about.
absolutely. Hey, let's work on it.
Yeah, so
All
it
right.
can happen. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Amen.
I appreciate my husband tonight. I thank him for just being a part of this ministry. I think he likes it.
Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers. If you didn't get touched on, didn't
Thank
get
you,
filled on,
Pastor.
didn't get anything, for all of you mothers, the mothers that are great mothers and the mothers that are not so good either.
All
Amen.
right.
We love you all. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Okay.
And maybe I can
Right.
still get
All
that
right.
Mother's Day drink.
Good night.
Pat.
Okay.
Good
Bye
night.
bye, Dr. Pat.
Listen, we love you all. Remember, like and share. Once I end the video, like and share the video. Thank you, Melissa. We love you. We love all of you. And we will see you part 2 of this very important special discussion next Monday, 7 p.m. and maybe 2 hours. You never know. I have to bring some food here to eat. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you soon. Like and share.
That's the other song right there. That's the other song that I have. I'm bringing y'all on in. Bringing y'all on in a little bit at a time.
Have a good night.
Feed your faith and starve your doubts. Pastor Turner has spoken and the mic has dropped.
He is black tea.
I give unto you my vows and my life. I praise you, bring your face on the heavens. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
You ready? All right, we love you. We love you, Doc.
I can't go and get me some rest so I can get
I know it. I know it. Yeah.
It really
I got
is.
12 meetings at different churches this week about this fucking women's lesson.
Yeah.
I told you, morning do it.
Sponsors.
Morning do it.
Well, I want you to do it. I want you to do it.
I'm getting ready to. I mean, if we went down by the 25th.
Yeah, just do a small hand.
My vows and my life. I praise you, bring your face on the